everybody, welcome to another GMG book review. I'm here with Owen from Game with the Cooler, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Third Offensive. This is the latest campaign expansion book from Corvus Belli for Infinity N3. Now, what's cool about this book, if you want the TLDR version of actually reading it, is it basically takes the timeline of Infinity up through the current events and does some really cool stuff by taking all the global campaigns and codifying it into the story. It's all official. There's even some call-outs to some of the people that played in the campaign, which I thought was really neat.
People who had a lot of posts on the...
post on battle reports, or were very excited about it or whatever. Their really names are actually in the book. So I think that is I think probably one of the coolest things about this book is that it's both the official sort of like current timeline for Infinity and also gives back to you know what I mean, and shows like the influence and sort of like commitment to community that is in Corvus Belli. So like it's a really great feeling to see that sort of story get moved along, and also to include a whole bunch of people that were just excited about it and make them feel special. So the other thing it does is it adds two new, there's already two other new armies that we've already seen through Infinity Army, but two more brand new armies, which is the Varuna Special Reaction, Immediate Reaction Force, which is the Kamau's, basically the aquatic troopers and the cutters, getting their whole new faction, some new profiles. And then there is the Yuching Invincible Army, which we've been waiting for a while. On top of that, there's the OSSSS, which is the Special Situations section of the Alepht's O12. And then on top of that, there's my favorite, which is the Tartary Army Corps, which is the Russians. You get the Kazakhs, who have their own profiles and armies now, too. But we're not going to touch on them too much because they've been out for a while.
Probably they came out with still. They have competition now, but they're still probably the best.
I think, well, what's interesting is, if I was to take these four new armies, you have the crazy heavy infantry mix and match in the Invincible Army, which we'll talk about in a minute. You have this like huge, like crazy power skill, like massive hitting pieces down to like baby Dakini tac bots in the OSSSS. You have a very traditional heavy infantry army in the MO that gets cleaned up a little bit, the military orders. Yeah. And then there's the Tartary Army Corps, which is like everything: warbands, skirmishers, heavy infantry, light infantry, medium. Like, actually, they don't get any medium infantry; they just get everything.
Yeah, the Tartary Army Corps.
They don't have a profile that isn't great.
Yeah, they suffer from a case of everything is good,
and they're modern sectorials, and that's the other thing we'll front load before we start getting into these individual armies, which we're just going to kind of go through the greatest hits of, because you guys can see it all in Infinity Army. Is the modern sectorial is the second half of this book, where they took three armies that were some of the first sectorial armies in N3 and just in Infinity, and brought them into this new mix and match era that we're in, where it's not single profile builds you whatever your Fireteam is.
JSA really opened the door on that one.
Yeah,
like the other armies that it started appearing, like Hafs's were like one of the early ones,
right? Where you could take a trooper from a different thing and swap it in.
What they did in Steel Phalanx and in Toha were kind of like testing grounds. People used to like laugh and mock.
But it never went to 5.
Oh,
it was always 4 and 3.
Yeah.
It was always 4 and 3.
There's still something to be said about both of those, because they can have multiple instances of them, which the other side still can't. But what's happened now is the other sides who can't take multiple of these links now can bring everything in one link.
It's soup links, basically. Yeah. It's kind of like the Infinity version of soup lists in 40k, where you can pick and choose basically a trooper to do that. And so the Morats now have access to those kinds of fire teams with wildcard troopers.
Everybody does. Everybody.
Like,
and certain profiles
certain profiles that weren't getting used a lot because they sat outside of that sort of like thing are now included. So in the military orders, we'll go through and talk about it, but the two big winners there are the Father Knight and the Blackfriar, who can both join Order Sergeant links now and be the spearhead in this like not that expensive link team that just murders the world, has a gun for every job.
Can be led by a guy who has the best stat line in the game.
Just the hardest stat line.
Probably does. Like
for a not tag, yes. He has, and he's size 2, which means he can go prone. There's a whole bunch of benefits to him just being.
He doesn't have like the best skills and stuff,
Knight.
But if you want to just look at stats, he probably has the highest across there.
That's right. Of a non-character piece, for sure. That you can have.
Even
like,
the characters are tough. Like if
BTS 9 is BTS 9's pretty legit.
Jones not beating him.
No, you're right. Yeah, she's better BS, but not better BTS.
She's dodgier, but
yeah, it's pretty great. And so that's basically where we're at. So we're gonna go through the two new armies, which are the Varuna Snake Eaters, the Immediate Reaction Division, And we'll talk about new profiles, and then we'll talk about basically like our thoughts on the armies. So the first one for Varuna, new profile is the Echo Bravo, the Rapid Reaction Unit. He's a neat profile. You can pull him up and look at him in army while you're listening to this if you want, but we'll just save you the details. Moderate CC, high BS, typical BS, average whip, and then his sort of like loadouts are boarding shotgun, light rocket launcher, Red Fury, combi rifle, light shotgun with a wild parrot, which is a new equipment piece, which is basically a fast panda EM mine that doesn't hide as a camo marker, and then a combi rifle DEP assault hacker. They're in the 25 to 27 point range, and you're
thanks
looking
to
at
airborne deployment.
Up to 1 spec, and this is their skills are what make them interesting. Is they have an airborne infiltration and aquatic terrain. This is your airborne trooper, so you get no AD in this army. This is your SEAL team, basically, right? Because the Varuna is basically the fish folk.
Yeah. Backed up by helots.
But a really interesting piece, because I think the 25-point half swick boarding shotgun light rocket launcher showing up on the flanks is going to be infuriatingly dangerous. Bipandra got a Fireteam option to join with Fusiliers, and then your Fusiliers get a Fireteam option where they can have up to 2 orcs from the Varuna division in there.
And also, Kamaus being wildcards means you can have a whole bunch of crazy stuff.
That's right. Helot Militia are your fish folk. Now, these are a crazy profile. They're super cheap point-wise. They range from 9 to 17 points. They're fairly SWIC intensive because you can take a multi-sniper for 1.5, but you can have a shock marksman rifle for 0. And what's cool about them, they got some pretty basic stat lines, BS 11 and no armor or BTS, but they got limited camo, which means they start as a camo state. They have shock immunity, and they're neurocinetic with aquatic terrain. So these are basically Delamies
with neurocinetics.
And they can take a shock marksman, a multi-sniper Red Fury, or a submachine gun light rocket launcher for 9 points, which for me is the winner there. You like the Red? Was it you like the Red Fury?
Shock rifle
or the shock rifle? Shock marksman for 13 points. Yeah,
because he's no SWIC. They are irregular, so you're not really gaining orders out of these.
They're
guys,
turrets.
But
they're turrets that are basically sitting in your deployment zone, ready to kill somebody.
They're camo TR bots.
And the shock marksman rifle means that you can touch someone who comes out of the zone, right?
Yeah.
So as soon as they come out of the zone, basically you're able to shoot those guys.
And being camo means you can wait the turn, let them leave it, then start fighting.
Then start shooting until they're close. They're in optimal range for whatever gun you're using, which is great. Pretty terrifying. Then you got your Kamaus. They have the same sort of like profiles as previous, but they have a Harris option, aquatic terrain, mimetism, shock immunity, stealth, and Fireteam core. And you've got a wild card trooper. They've got their core Fireteam, but they can join anything else. You got an MSV2 visor option, which means if you want to add an MSV2 visor sniper rifle to your Fusilier link, which your Fusilier link is actually just Bipandra, 2 orcs from the Varuna division, and then like 2 Kamaus. You can
one
just do
Kamau
that.
And a Clipper.
Yep.
Or 2.
There's a Clipper's all wild card as well, which is bananas.
Or 2 Clippers.
Your Machinist gets a new profile, which is a Varuna division mimetism stealth aquatic terrain. It can join a Fireteam core Harris of Kamaus, which is kind of cool. And then you got your Tech Bees, Trauma Docs, all the same. War Cores, all the same. The next new profile is the Zulu Cobra, the Recon and Rasan intervention group. Now, what's funny is all of these armies are pretty SWC intensive. And in fact, the Varuna box set, which I just painted up, and you can watch a game for up here, is 6.5 SWC. You can't actually field it all in the box. So I'm fielding my Zulu Cobra, I think, as the Breaker Combi hacker, killer hacker in that one. But your favorite profile is the top one here. Sensor, Jammer, and this guy's CH Camouflage, 4 deployment, 1 in multi-terrain. So
camo Jammers. It actually seems like that's the other side of this, because the Heckler has a camo 4 deployment, 1 and a Jammer as well.
He's the Pano Heckler.
Yeah, or he's the Nomad Heckler.
Nomad Heckler. So well, this guy is the Pano Heckler.
Yeah. They might even be identical, like, because he's camo 4 deployment.
Does Heckler have a sensor and assault pistol?
I don't know if he has a sensor, but like he's probably got something else going on.
Because a surprise shot assault pistol is pretty cool for 29 points, and then the Jammer is pretty cool as well. I actually like the 25-point X-Visor shock marksman rifle one, just for surprise shotting people and doing a little bit of hunting. There's no SWC.
We're looking at these guys for totally different jobs. My idea is
you like jammering things.
Well, I like censoring just as much.
It's true. Being
able
to reveal the
sniffer
world.
bots are 6/6, so you go turn 1, coordinate both of them into the middle of the board.
Yeah.
And then second skill your Zulu Cobra sensors.
And I whip 19 because you whip 13 base, which for a Pano troop is pretty awesome.
And it reveals the entire middle strip because it comes off of all your sniffers as well.
Yep.
So you suddenly clear all the board of all of their camo and infiltrators, and then your Orc Kamau orders
start hunting stuff.
Orc Kamau, whatever guys, come out and kill them all.
After you jam them.
Well, if you feel like jammer, well, you use the jammer defensively, right?
you can
You
just
go
go
back
park
into
next to it.
camo,
Yeah.
and then you're like, all right, I'll use it when I need it.
I will park next to you on a rooftop. You got your Montesa Order Motorized Knight, who does not get the
Specialist
profile
but the
that
other
the other
two
guys
got.
do. And then you got your orc troops, or as we call it, make orcs great again. So you've got basically every orc profile twice. They get a new Fuhrbach profile for 2 SWC, and they get all of the same profiles copied again as Varuna Division orcs, which give them stealth and a multi-terrain aquatic and jungle, which is a huge upgrade. Just having stealth makes these guys go from like the most boring heavy infantry.
Back to you, Mobile Regatta. Courage isn't enough.
Although Brian had a core link, these guys have a core link now, which is, it's just great. AVA 5, they've got good solid raw stats, and they like to murder.
Yep.
And then you've got one missing profile in the Varuna link, because you can't take a multi-rifle lieutenant, it looks like.
Yeah.
But you can take a duo, and you can take a Harris as well, which is pretty cool. The shotgun Harris, which is
Now, the
nice.
Harris is limited to... It's also a Tinbot Harris, which is relevant for them, because it'll help protect them against hacking,
Absolutely.
level 1. But it is also the Varuna only. So,
Yeah.
like, the other... I mean, everyone else who can bring Harris, or bring any kind of orcs, can Harris them as well. Like, Acon and... what's the other one? Neoterra?
Yep.
They have Harris versions without the stealth. But with stealth, it makes it all of a sudden that they're actually going to do something. Because these guys do not want to reset. Like,
they're only whip 12.
Yeah.
Like, they're whip 12 heavy infantry.
if they have to
resets are
face-to-face
bad.
you with the hacking attempt,
And they've got
okay.
average BTS of 3 as well.
They're high BS, BS14.
BS14. No, they like to fight. They just don't like to reset from hacking stuff. So stealth's pretty legit. Their core special with the Fusiliers has to be Varuna Division as well. You can't take the regular orcs.
Patsy Garnet.
Patsy Garnet, she's a cool new model. She's the special character for the orcs. Still BS14, slightly better CC, because why not make her better at fighting in melee?
I don't even see it if it's under 20. It's like,
I don't even see it if it's under 20.
Yeah.
You get
13, though.
what's interesting though is she has every Fireteam option. She can form a duo, a Harris, a multi-train, forward observer, or stealth NCO with any of the sectorial in this army. She can join any of the sectorials, and she can start a Harris link, which is neat.
Yeah.
Because she has Fireteam Harris base.
Yep.
And Fireteam duo.
So anyone, and she counts as a wild card.
Yeah. She counts as a wild card. She can join any fire team and start the Harris too, which is crazy. So she has a submachine gun, Nimbus plus grenades, which is just a weird grenade. I never know what to do with them. And then D-charges and a pistol and a knife. She's 37 points, and she's got multi-train, forward observer, stealth, and NCO as well, which means she can use the lieutenant order. And you're probably not taking anything except for the Fusilier hiding a rooftop lieutenant in this army, because most of your lieutenant options are all fighting pieces.
Yeah. Anyone who would want to not just keep it for themselves. Like a cutter lieutenant.
Yeah,
But you could also...
like cutter lieutenant. And you can do a cutter, AVA 2 cutters.
Yep.
With... Yeah.
I mean, you could.
They're
I would do it.
I know you
9
would.
orders. 2 cutters.
And then you get your Squallows, who are also AVA 2. You do get new Squallow profiles. You get a Varuna one, which is aquatic with Fireteam Duo, which is pretty neat. And they get new guns. They get a Zapper. So the base one gets a Zapper, which is a small template Emorat, which is a pretty neat profile for giving them some close range defense, which you just didn't have otherwise.
The scariest weapon,
Just for isolating.
kind of in the game.
Just for isolating, they're terrifying.
Well, because they're EM2, right? So you're half BTS 2 dice.
Yeah. Well, check the Zapper, though. It might not be. It might just be M1. We don't know, because it is smaller. Bulleteer's in here. Clipper, who is a wildcard trooper, because, of course, we want to make missile launchers great again. But it means you can attach a missile launcher to anything.
Yeah, it's EM2.
It is EM2, okay.
Damage 13.
Fugazis, Mulebots, Palbots, Pathfinders, Peacemakers, and your Crocman, who stayed exactly the same. So thoughts about Varuna. Varuna's a pretty... They're pretty directed into the orcs. You can do some neat stuff with the Zulu Cobras and the Helots as like defensive Helots, which are basically like Delamies. But you are kind of working around your Kamazan orcs to build your fire team. Your Fusiliers are padded out, but they don't have... Of all of the new armies here,
Between the two of them,
they only have they're the one with the least, I think, like number of different builds, because nothing's so expensive that when you dive into it, you're forced
cut
out
off
of
from
something
nothing
else.
else,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Whereas the Invincible Army, OSSSS, they tend to like if I want to try out one of these crazy new things I have access to, I'm not getting
not bringing much else. Yeah,
much else, because they're all in the 30 to 40 point range.
They also seem, at least between them and in the Invincible Army, they have a lot less going on.
Yeah.
None of their profiles are particularly like new.
No.
They don't have roles. That
We're most excited with the Invincible
yeah.
Army.
The Invincible Army has so much more rules outside of the current play styles that this one kind of pales in comparison. It's got things that make Pano orcs good.
Yep.
but it was like, is that just because everyone?
I think what this is going to be.
Not really sure what happened.
Well, I think this is going to be an interesting army for Pano already players to play.
Yeah.
Whereas I can see a lot of people just starting the Invincible army because it's just a crazy. The Invincible army. So this army feels like. Like a light infantry army where you're getting to play with some heavy infantry pieces. The Invincible army is just straight up the heavy infantry army in the game now.
Yeah, we wanted to see what we could do with heavy infantry, so we made them light infantry stats, but gave them heavy infantry.
And we'll talk about that in a second. But like this one is a mix, but I don't see there being a lot of different variations in list building. Whereas the other ones are going to be a lot of variations in list building. Tartary Army Corps was already.
The other
hey, look, we can do everything.
Is that the guys who you could bring that would break up that soup link? They're either not enough points or they don't have the AVA to get away from them.
Right.
So, like, you bring your soup link of your Bipandra double Orc, double Kamau, then you bring your Harris of Kamau, and you're at, like, 200-ish points. And then you get to bring a little bit of
max your SWIC. That's the thing. Your SWC max. You're trying to find things out of fill-in points that don't cost you any SWC.
But the thing is that, like, you can't bring anything other than those things to make that distance. Unless you're bringing the cutter. Or, like... Because there's no...
true.
You can't bring 10 helots to make that list.
Yeah.
Like
I feel like the alt lists for this one are the tags.
Yeah, because
that's really it.
Because like helots, you can only bring 3,
even though too many SWC, and the 200 SWC to take them with all the fancy
the Kamau you could bring a bunch of, but they're not enough points with not enough AVA to spam or like get into it. So the only thing you really have going for you are orcs, and like orcs. Zulu Cobras are cool, but they're not expensive enough. That you
I can see myself bringing 3. I can see myself bringing 3 of the base ones, like the hacking device, killer hacker, or whatever.
My point just being that you can't bring so many that they would be able to be a crutch for an entire army.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And the same thing for the Echo Bravo. But they're also not so expensive that if you're bringing the rest of the army, they're prohibited from being taken.
Yeah.
And so
you're going to have a good combined arms army, but it's not going to... I don't think...
You're not going to
between two different... I think when you see a Varuna player playing... His army's not going to be so different from other Varuna players. That's
a lot of the same guys are going to show up again and again because like you'll want to bring one Echo Bravo either, and this will depend on who you are. Do you want the Parrot or do you want the Launcher? Yeah. And then the same thing for the Zulu is.
Do you want the Killer Hacker or do you want the FO? Because he's going to go do your button pushing for you.
Yeah. Is he or do you want to bring the Marksman or the Sensor? Do you want to bring the I control the board or I kill the guys?
Yeah.
There's but you're gonna have them. Like there's no reason not because they're only between the two of those.
You're always gonna have 100 points almost left over. That's the thing is after you build your core and your Harris team, you're gonna have about 100 points to play with, and that's where these.
And even if you got down to 50, these guys can still come in because they're like 25 to 30 points, and so you shift a few points here and there, and you're gonna be able to bring these guys. So I think they're neat for that in that you get to use all of their toys whenever you go and play them.
No.
But at the same time, it means that you're going to be playing the same list.
Yeah, so the lists aren't going to be that different, unless I think you take a tag. Because your tags are
pretty
interesting.
5 orcs and you just do something crazy.
But you can easily, if you take 5 orcs, you can easily have a core and a Harris, both with orcs in them in this case too.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Invincible Army, because this is the counterpoint to Varuna and the OSSS, which is... So there used to be the idea that heavy infantry were this like standard. If you looked at heavy infantry, you kind of knew you're always getting this standard profile of like 2 wounds and some BTS.
2 wounds, armor 3 minimum,
and BTS 3.
Yeah.
Now those days are over. So you're getting 10 heavy infantry profiles in here, and I think 5 of them are 1 wound, no wounding cap. And what we're just going to go through the new stuff right now and talk about these. But it's all kind of launching off of
the Dao
Yang operative control unit, which is the only medium infantry in the army.
Yeah,
and is just it's the coolest profile. It's
Lieutenant level 2.
Lieutenant level 2. So the fighting profile is just okay. It's still arm 3 BDS 3, but it's got camouflage and hiding and bioimmunities. It's hard to kill. It can hide. Lieutenant level 2 profile is 3 of the profiles, and the most important one is the hacker.
Yeah,
because you've got free fairy dust now and free support jump.
And the 2 of those abilities, Fairy Dust, you'll have to use every game.
Yep.
You're not playing heavy infantry. You're not going to be able to play this faction without it because your whole army is going to be fighting hackers all game
and be heavy infantry.
They start. The other thing is that the engineers are kind of lacking in this one, and you're going to need to bring your engineer. They have,
but your mech engineer doesn't get to hang out with you either.
One of the heavy guys
has an engineer profile too. Yeah.
But the Dao Yang with Lieutenant level 2, as soon as the NCO and Lieutenant were revealed in OSS, that opened the door for some like silly. We're going to get around the fact that there's only 12 orders in our list or 10 order lists now.
And this
one took that all the way.
This one took that to the bank because there's another special skill in here called, what is it, Tactical Awareness.
And NCO, yeah.
And NCO. And the 3 of those skills together, Lieutenant Level 2, Tactical Awareness, and NCO, make for a 10
order, a 10 guy list could be as many as
16,
15 or 16, yeah.
Like 15 or 16 orders, basically. So Tactical Awareness is you generate an irregular order that only you can use, but it counts as a regular order when you're in a fire team.
If you're the link leader, which is relevant.
Yeah.
So it means that,
it means when that guy steps,
Plebo's got to stand back. Yeah.
You just use it right away for movement.
Right.
Whenever you're moving, it's just the first order you always use. You make him the fire team leader.
Or end with that as the movement.
As the movement skill, exactly. So this is a free order now that's built into someone's profile. He basically counts as 2 models for generating orders in a fire team, and you're gonna have so many fire teams in this list. It's crazy.
And you're gonna have a lot of like fluctuating fire teams because some guys are gonna want to leave and come back.
And then you've got the NCO rule, which is you can use the lieutenant order. So if there's a turn you don't need support jump anymore, your lieutenant level 2 is feeding an order to a really cool hitting piece because a bunch of the really cool solo hitting pieces.
And if you're playing somebody who doesn't have a lot of hackers, if you're playing your Ariadnes or your Tohas, you can afford to not worry about fairy dust and just get 2 extra orders in your link or on the Wo Ming.
The
Mo Wang.
The Mo Wang. The Mo Wang murder piece. Yeah. Who's got the NCO rule in half his profiles. He's either in charge or he's the NCO.
He's either in charge or second in command.
So your total profiles in here, you get Zan Shi's up to 4. You have 3 of these Dalian control units. The Hacktai, you can have 3, and they can be special fire team.
Yep.
What's he able to do?
He's able to wildcard.
Oh.
The Hideout. That's who you're looking at, right?
The Hideout, yeah. Sorry.
Not
the Hideout special, not the Hacktai. The Hideout special support group.
Hideout can.
And then the Liu Qing jump infantry, which we'll talk about in a minute. They don't get a fire team. The Zhu Yang Invincibles, they get 5, and Core Harris duo special, they get everything.
The Shang-Chi.
The Shang-Chi are everything 5,
but also wild cards
and also amazing. The Yan Hao Invincibles, the super heavy guys, get duo and special. They can form a Harris with Terracotta Warrior. Your Hacktai, you get 1. He's the big heavy infantry TO guy. Your Moang troops are 3 in duo. And then your Glages, you can have 2, because why not? Your Hulang shock troops are 2 in duo. And then your Zensha armored reconnaissance regiment, you can have 4 of. And after that, it's... Tai
Sheng is the last guy to really notice, because he's the Zhu Yang NCO.
That's right. And then your mech engineer and your Yi Shang, and then all your robots. And then
they do have a baggage bot that can link, which is weird. He's like he's a wild card, if I recall.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you get the combi rifle baggage bot. That can link too,
he's
weird.
A wild card.
The Poopalang or whatever it's called. Which is
the Pangalung.
Pangalung. That's right. It was pretty weird. So the ones to talk about, the Hulang shock troops, they get fire team duo. This is your only melee piece. It's a weird piece. It's CC 20 with martial arts 3.
If you're the kind of person in Infinity who likes melee.
But it's got a monofilamental weapon, an SMG, EM grenades, and decharges, and it's not that expensive. It's the same price as an Oni Waban, basically. And this is the first of our, let's talk about heavy infantry who aren't heavy infantry. Because this guy's got 1 wound, no wounding cap, and shock immune. Yeah. So there's a whole layer of dudes here in this army that are this new profile where they count as heavy infantry, so they can be hacked, but they don't actually have 2 wounds. And then they've got mimetism, forward deployment level 2. So not quite infiltrating, but they're specialists, and they can go and stab stuff. No smoke grenades, though.
EM grenades.
EM grenades instead.
Also good.
Yep, also good. Your Hadao Special Support Group, which is shock immune, free agent, 0G, no wounding caps, the same 1 wound heavy infantry.
This is your engineer though, because he's wild card.
He's wild card.
So
he's also your MSV too. Because there's not a lot of MSV in this army, and this guy can be wild carding into anything.
And they're AVA 3, so you're going to get both of those. You're going to want an MSV because you should always bring an MSV.
Yep.
And then you're going to need an engineer because you're going to get parroted. Like,
you get EM by somebody.
Zappered. Somebody's going to hit you.
Somebody's going to EM you, and everything is heavy infantry, which means everything. All these 1 wound guys can get shut down basically by it.
Yeah.
And now it's your favorite profile.
The Liu Qing
jump infantry.
BS 13, Fizz 12, Whip 13, 3-3, 1 wound again, but no wounding cap.
Yep.
And then AVA 4, and then they have bioimmunity, AD combat jump, so they're flat whip or flat fizz when they jump.
And a brand new skill.
Kinematica 1, and then explode level X.
Which is the old Kiskuta rule, where when you AD in, you place a template over the model after it lands, and everything takes basically a direct template, POW 12.
Yeah.
Which you can still dodge and do all the normal reactions to, but now we've got a unit in the game that can arrive and just blast damage through a link team or like a crowd of guys on a rooftop or whatever. Because in Season 10, you can land on roofs. You can land anywhere.
Yep.
You can do what you want.
Or you land right behind the Gao Rail sniper
in
his link. and you blow up his symbiomate on the first land. Because he's going to have to use it, because he's not going to want to.
That's right.
Oh, I'm going to dodge. All right, dodge out of sight for -3. Okay, I turn around. Okay, now double shotgun. Blah, blah.
Now boarding shotgun.
Because he has a boarding shotgun, Spitfire multi-rifle boarding shotgun.
32 points for a boarding shotgun, and their AVA 4.
Yeah.
And so now here's your lieutenant level 2 support jumping for
Jumps
these
on 15s.
guys.
Second guy comes in.
Yeah, I mean, it's 128 points for 4 of these guys, but
I don't think you go to 4. I think you can do 2, though.
I'm just saying, if you took 4, it would be like the noob crusher. Like,
yeah, well, what I was saying is, like,
it's
Van Zandt was the old, like, new player killer, like, you learn your lesson that Van Zandt can get in your deployment and kill your guys, so you're like, oh, I'm going to look behind. Now you're going to learn, I can never have 2 guys within 5 inches of one another, or else I'm going to lose 2, potentially.
Or 2's going to get crushed. And if you don't, then this guy lands safely, he just walks around boarding shotgunning people.
He lands on one guy and, like, traps him in the corner, tries to kill him. Like, I could see a lot of guys sleeping with their bums in the corner, because then at least when he comes down, they can die killing him. Because he does only have 1 wound, no wounding cap. Yeah. And so your TR bots...
Well, but they have to choose. Do they dodge now or not, right? They either take the POW 12 and try and shoot him.
You take the POW 12 and wound this guy.
But you're only wounding him. You're not killing him. That's the thing, is unless you kill him, unless you've either got total reaction or a Fireteam burst advantage. He doesn't know. That's true.
You could just take him down with like a multi or something. But
I think you put mines. That's how you...
Mine layer's the
big answer to this guy.
Even then, he's going to still kill you on your way in. He's dead, though.
He can't even dodge it. And he can't even dodge it. Like, there's nothing he can do, because the turn he arrives, the mine goes off. He has no way to stop it. It just hits him.
Yep.
Because he can't react to it.
But, yeah, this guy changes the game to some degree, because it's opening up... Because, like, everyone else we've talked about so far, in Varuna and in this, up to this point, hasn't impacted the way your opponent needs to play the game.
No.
Like... Their guy comes in from side, guy walks up the forward, guy sensors, guy has camo, guy has a big link team. This is the first one where it becomes, okay, if I deploy wrong, I might just lose.
Yeah. They might just come from the sky like meteors and engage Titanfall, and I just get crushed.
Here's my Varuna link team, and we've got the 2 order sergeant, or the 2... what are they called? Fusiliers. They're tucked in the back, and the orc is facing forward with his Fuhrerbach, and the 2 Kamau's are watching on the stairs, and you're like, I killed the 2 Fusiliers on landing. Okay, now I walk behind
and
the Kamau.
Start lean out shotgunning people.
Yeah, and like that's something that you're gonna have to be aware of when you're playing any Invincible army, because one of these guys almost every game. Like,
I think you just take one as a throwaway.
Yeah,
and he can just ruin something.
He either wins you the game or does little, and either way, your opponent had to deal with that.
Absolutely, he just makes you waste order space with a he's a shotgun guy.
More expensive but more reliable version of the American infiltrating flamethrower. Yeah. They do the same job.
It's true. Fast pandas will wreck his day. There's a couple things that'll keep him.
Oh yeah, things will kill him, but.
I'm just saying. Yeah. You said there was no way to defend against him. I think there's still the usual like deployments on defense stuff like fast pandas and crazy koalas. Not fast pandas. Crazy koalas. What I'm going to say. And mines. Mine layer.
Yeah, it's that you're going to now have to use skills that were normally used to offensively defend, like get out of your deployment to defend yourself.
It's true.
Like these are all skills like mine layer and fast pandas are really, or not fast pandas. Crazy koalas are objective defenders. Yep. Now you're gonna have to use them because he still blows up, whether he dies or not. True. He lands and does the blast.
Yep, and he gets rid of them basically for you too. He's really cool.
And you could take them all. You could use that just to clear out all the pandas in the area.
That's
like, I'm gonna die. 4 of them.
Well, because he still Fizz 12, which means he can dodge them later on when they show up if you want as well.
If he survives.
If he survives the first one. And then you got your Mo Wang troops. This guy's awesome. So he's your Alpha Zed. He's your super heavy size 5 infantry.
Same stat
with Arm 5 BTS 6. That's right. And he's got Mimetism, which is cool. Mod stack, Fireteam Duo, multi-terrain, and no wounding cap. So he is actually wound 3 almost.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool actually. It pushes him into like really super heavy, almost Achilles territory, right, where he's got this extra wound.
Yep.
And then he's got 2 profiles. He's either an NCO or a lieutenant.
He has 6 profiles. 3 of them are NCO. Yeah, 3 of them are lieutenant.
But what I'm saying is, like, there's basically the same guns on these 3 different profiles at each side, but he's either eating the lieutenant order off of your lieutenant level 2 hiding on a rooftop, or he's a lieutenant himself. I think you always take him as the NCO because I don't see why you wouldn't. And they actually make it attractive to take him as lieutenant because they discount him.
Yeah,
he's 4 points cheaper
up for his good guns.
That's right.
It goes down if you bring him as lieutenant.
That's right. So he's actually more discounted to not take him as the NCO. And he can Fireteam Duo with multi-terrain and no wounding cap. So this guy can take a multi-rifle and Flaming Spear, a Red Fury acrylic cannon, or a Spitfire and Flaming Spear. I think you always take the Red Fury.
Yeah,
there's only one
SWC.
Nice
middle of the road too. Yeah, because he's only 1 Swick, and the
and 52 points is not that expensive for that stat line. For almost 3 wounds.
Not a pseudo 3 order one guy, like...
That's gross. Yeah, he's pretty big. And then the fact that he's basically able to steal an order as well means that you don't do him and you walk him around.
Yeah.
Now, if you did want to do him, you could do him with someone like a Shang-Chi, who's a...
Tactical awareness.
A tactical awareness, that's right. The Shang-Chis get all their old profiles, plus a Harris option with tactical awareness, and just a Spitfire with tactical awareness, which is bonkers.
And one of them can wildcard into anybody.
That's right.
So they could jump the other half of that duo could be this guy who goes, all right, I'm going to walk twice. You follow me.
Well, you could just take the Harris one, because you don't have to use Harris, and then wildcard him in with Combi Rifle, Light Flamethrower, Tinbot B. So now that Moang's got super high BTS.
No, the Moang can't join them. They can join the Moang.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
You don't use him as the Harris option, but you still take that profile, because it's got TAC awareness now, too. No, the Harris profile. Yeah. Because you can put TAC awareness on him with not the Spitfire.
You just do that one, though, because then you're...
If you want the Spitfire, yeah. I'm just saying it's way cheaper SWC wise. He gets a Tinbot on top of it, and he's got a Combi Rifle, Light Flamethrower. Yeah. Like you bring him as the defense.
The
basically,
Tinbot one's really nice for him.
Yeah, because it makes him super durable.
Yeah, it's hacking that's going to be your major problem in this. Yeah. Any Nomad player who decided that they wanted to play that game, and a lot of them, and like the Securitats and the things that came out in Tunguska.
Yeah.
There's a lot of problems that, like, even just a Custodes team of Bakunin could shut your whole army down in, like, a turn or two. Because you don't...
Just with repeaters, just lacing out repeaters and, like,
you don't have a great whip, and one good pitcher could shut off your entire heavy team. And
bad. And everyone's heavy, too. All these one-wound guys are all heavy as well.
Yeah. So, like, be aware that as we keep talking about how awesome these combos are, like, they have a pretty glaring weakness right there.
Well, if, like, 8 out of 10 of your models are going to be heavy infantry, they're all hackable, which is crazy. And most of them don't have martial arts. One of them has martial arts, which is the heavy infantry.
And they don't have stealth, and they don't have camo for most of them. So many of them are going to be hackable as they wander around.
Which is going to feel weird, I think, to Yu Ching players, because a lot of the Yu Ching other heavy infantry, like the Shen, have martial arts.
Especially the ones that were popular at the time. Yeah.
That's right. I think even the Hacktow doesn't have martial arts. No, just Tio
so
camo.
He still is okay.
He has stealth, yeah. But no martial arts on him.
Yeah.
Then you got Tai Sheng, which is your Zhu Yang Invincible NCO. He's a special character, and he's got a chain of command profile, which is pretty cool.
He's a lieutenant who's going to die. People are going to kill that guy.
They're gonna after a couple games, they're going to figure out that they want to kill this guy, and then he counts as a Zhu Yang for Fireteam composition, which means that he can join any of the Zhu Yang Fireteams, and that's your big meaty cheap link basically. If the Shang-Chis are basically the same profile as like the big Hospitaller Knights in MO, these guys are your
Magisters.
Magister Knights. Yeah, your baby Knights.
Yeah, they're better than baby Knights, but this guy's also 50 points.
Yeah, this guy's an NCO and a Forward Observer as well, and so he can.
And he has 1 million gun profiles.
He's got a Mark 12 Breaker Combi and a Tinbot, and then they're either taking his chain of command or not. So it's pretty cool.
Another Tinbot's always nice,
and a Mark 12 is cool too.
Yeah.
Then there's your Zensha Armored Reconnaissance Unit, and this is one of your favorites.
Yeah, this is the other side of the Jump Trooper, where you have your Camo Infiltrating, Climbing Plus, Multi-Terrain, No Wound Cap Specialist.
But he's a heavy infantry.
But he's also heavy infantry.
And no shock immune either. But he infiltrates. This is like a souped up super heavy Guilang in regular Yu Ching. This guy's the infiltrator guy, and he can be either an assault hacker or an FO. And he's got some decent guns. Boring shotgun decharges. I think the 37-point base one does all the jobs. Yeah. He's probably the one you take.
You are right. Between the 34 though, for the lower point, like you'd bring like one of the I want to do the buttons and 3 of the I want to kill. If you wanted to skew this, like
the mine one, I think is cool too. The 35.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he's the other side of that, where you bring like 3 of him and 1 of the other guy, and depending on who you're up against. Because I think you can make a really interesting list out of this army using no links. They have all the right tools to make like a bunch of single individual, like Moangs plus Lieutenant 2, a second one of the Lieutenant guys, because he's the sniper mine layer guy.
We'll even do flex links later on, where like you decide you want to link up like midway through the game, because they've all got the possibility.
Your engineers duoed with the Moang at the beginning or something like that. And that's the only one you bring.
The one thing about taking links in this army, though, is it does open up that tactical awareness possibility.
Yeah.
But you can go without it and use the NCO to take your Lieutenant level 2. And so you got 12 wars with Lieutenant level 2, basically.
Even without anything else. Yeah. Just showing up with the Lieutenant 2.
Whereas, and you just want your NCOs to be individuals then. Which brings us to the Yan Hao Invincibles, the Fire Support Boys. And they get some neat options. They have duo base with all their own profiles. But then the FTOs can Harris.
Yep. So
with anybody.
With your double missile launcher or your HMG,
multi-HMG. I honestly think you take the special character Tai Sheng with them, because he counts as Zhu Yang, and then you can take them with the Deflector Tinbot.
Keep in mind, that's your army, though. That's 150 points.
Absolutely. But then you can have a Mark 12 in that unit, too. with chain colt, stun grenades, heavy pistol, and they become deflector. Or sorry, no, it'd be breaker combi to make them that way. Yeah, but still a linked breaker combi with a tin bot. But that's gonna up because the Yan Haos have they have like a fairly low BTS. It's only 3, considering their armor 5 and not as BTS-y.
They're also slow because they're only 5 too. They're the guys with the giant guns on their shoulders.
Yeah, and you get your neurosonic missile launcher and stuff still. But
that's what I'm saying as well, is that the non-link army in this list is pretty scary.
Yep.
I wonder what they look like in vanilla. I don't know if the vanilla ones are updated right, but there might be a really cool vanilla list in this as well.
Yeah. And then you have your Zuyang Invincibles who have all their usual profiles, but they do get a tactical awareness profile, which is a combi rifle and tin bot, which is really cool. So for 34 points and half a SWIC, you get a Fireteam Harris tactical awareness profile. And then your other tactical awareness profile, I believe, is an HMG. With Fireteam Duo. So why not? Why not have these extra people? It was interesting because you have as many duos as you want.
Yeah.
So the tactical awareness duos, I think, are actually how you math out having the max orders in this. Right?
Yeah.
Because that guy's only 1.5 SWIC too. He's not even 2 SWIC for the HMG.
I mean, you make this guy the leader of the 2 Yan Haos because you still get the deflector and he's still a Harris.
That's right.
And he gets tactical awareness, whereas the NCO guy does not.
No, that's right.
So it's him, the 2 missiles or 2 HMGs, whichever way.
And you're getting 4 for 3 bodies on
that
guy, which is pretty cool too.
And he's a lot cheaper. He's like 20 points cheaper than the other fella.
Yeah. You get double Guejo, and then I think you don't get your linkable missile bot, do you?
Yeah,
no, you do. Yeah, you do. You get the Sunbay.
And then you also get the linkable bag.
The Pangaling.
Yeah.
Who's a wildcard trooper, and you get the light shotgun, which is kind of neat. Who's your jump into any squad.
He's your I've run out of DEP rounds.
That's right.
Come load me.
That's right. Load me up. I need more DEP rounds.
Because your Zhao, I forget what they were called.
Zuyongs?
Yeah, the Zuyongs had. No, they didn't.
No, it was this guy right here. The guy, the Zen Shah has the DEP. He can reload.
Else? Maybe I'm just not remembering now.
Nothing needs loading, I don't think.
Yeah, I think you're right. Oh,
the Acolyte does? The Moangs.
Mines do.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Well, no, but even the Moangs had. What was I looking at right now? The Moangs had.
Nope, you going left. Yeah, there it is.
They have the Acolyte cannon, so you can reload your Flemish Brand and your Acolyte cannon off of him. And if he's wild card, they have Fireteam Duo.
So you just have wild card with it.
That's what I'm saying. You just have him wild card.
Your baggage bot just follows along behind the Moang as he goes and
your NCO Moang just reloads all day long. Just be like, I can fire this Flemish Spiel as many times as I want.
I'm going to spend a few of my orders to get up there. I'm going to use the lieutenant order to reload my guns, form the duo back up, and keep going.
Let's go. Let's fight. Let's do this. We're going to fight forever. Break the link. I'm getting no benefit from this anyway. I'm just dragging you around.
Yeah.
And that's it.
But you're also 30 points in a zone.
So that's, I think now maybe you guys can see what we're talking about when we said that there's a lot more breadth, I think, to the Invincible army. They've got so many build options.
And their profiles are just off the rails.
Yeah, they are.
They don't interact with each other very well, other than the ones that are designed to be together.
Like Lieutenant Level 2, NCO, and Tactical Awareness, which all 3 of them can give you that 10 model, but 16 order pool.
But their individual specialists, like the Infiltrating Heavy Infantry and the Drop Bomb, they are both something that, like, that Infiltrating Heavy Infantry guy has the stat line of a knight. He's also full camo, and he's also armor 3 with no wound cap.
Yeah,
he's only got 1 wound. He's only BS 12, but SMG with camo and the surprise shot is gonna kill.
And a boarding shotgun and a DEP and submachine gun. You can just dice him with submachine.
And not only that, you can bring 4.
Yep.
But on the other side, which I was saying about Varuna, is he's also expensive. He's 34 to 41 points, like bottom to top, which means you're not just throwing one of these guys into every list.
No.
Like, you can do that in Varuna because you don't have a lot of choices.
Well, because I think your Fireteam choices cap out at 200 points in Varuna, whereas with these guys,
stop. Like, you could get into
you're getting to 10. You're getting to 10 models probably at most in this. In Varuna, you're trying to stay outside of 11 actually, and still fill up your extra 100 points.
You're using those baggage bots to fill up the last of the Harrises and the Links, because they're only 13 points and nobody else is under that cost.
Oh, the Zanshis are for 11, but then you're taking a Zanshi core team at that point.
But these guys they can Harris anyone, right? Or they can wild card. So any Harris or big link that needs to save 10 to 15 points gets a baggage bot shotgun.
Absolutely.
I'm not very good. I'm here just because I want to help out and reload every now and again.
And let's reload some guns.
I'm a TR shotgun, I'm pretty sure.
I think this will be the one army, though, where you're going to see duos. Like, I don't think you see duos very often in Infinity. Not as often as they could be, because they're everywhere. But you could actually do it in this one.
Military orders are also going to pick it up.
Well, I think because of tactical awareness, though.
This one,
because the duo means that normally the order efficiency isn't that big a deal, but the duo, you're actually getting 3. 4. It's 4 orders out of, because the guy being dragged along is moving twice basically now instead of just once, because you're getting that free order from Tactical Awareness. So it's going to be neat. I'm really excited to see what happens, because I feel like this is a 10 model heavy infantry army that's actually at the mobility of like a 16, because you're actually getting all these regular orders in one combat group too.
We should have made that list. I'm looking at it now and I'm like,
and trying it out.
How would you do it? Okay, so you have to start with your Dao Ying. You're gonna have that guy. You're gonna bring him as the hacker
man. Yep.
You're bringing probably no shock troops, because while they're good, your Hack Tau does the same job, but is better.
Dao, sorry, yeah.
Or Hai Dao.
Yeah, Hai Dao.
Yeah, that's we'll skip that. We'll go to this. Go to
jump
Mr.
Infantry.
Lushing Jump Infantry. You bring one. You're definitely bringing the NCO Mo Wang.
I think you take 2 and you take the baggage bots with them, because you can definitely do 2, because it's only 1.
I think we're going to run out of points when we build the big link.
I think so. Oh, that's right, because we're going to do tac awareness.
Yeah, it is. Nope, it's the Shang-Chi, who are the big guys, and you're going with the normal link with a number 2, because you're going to run out of command points too. You're going to have a lot of stuff going on. I don't think NCO guy's worth it, because they have their own Tinbot hidden in...
Remember, you get another tactical awareness out of the Zuyongs right there, because you can take the duo one.
And he joins the link.
And he's your HMG. Yep.
So now you have an HMG and a Spitfire, but double tactical awareness in that group. 1, 2... And now this is what I was talking about, where you bring these little robots, because now I didn't have to pay for those last 2 heavy infantry, because like look at how fast this army filled up.
Yeah, it's a 260.
I've had 8 orders, and 2 of them were the little guys. And
now you take this guy, your Zenshas.
I don't think I can even afford him.
You can get one.
Right.
You can get the submachine gun DP. You get 6 points to fill in one more body.
Yeah, I think actually somebody gets trimmed, and you bring one of the sniffy bots.
Yeah, because they're 8.
Yeah, whatever cheapo bot, whatever guy in here.
You're at 5 SWC right now.
1 Zuyong, instead of becoming a number 2, there's a cheaper one. 38 going down to... Oh, Tinbot guy. That's who it is.
Yep.
Save a bunch of points. Do that. Drop little sniffy bot. It's 14 points. You can bring Zhang Shi.
Yep. You get Zhang Shi paramedic or something like that.
Can we get 1 more point?
Can't get a doctor. Can you find a point somewhere?
Yeah. But anyway, that's the idea that I'm thinking is...
Well, you're sitting at right now...
This is who you really want, actually.
Right. Well, your Mo Wang doesn't have his follower right now either. There's no baggage bot in the Mo Wang.
But he also doesn't need it that much.
No, because he's using the NCO. Right? He's using the NCO orders, yeah.
It's more to save that elsewhere.
Yeah.
Do you go to 1 tactical awareness in this group? Anyway, you guys can't see the list that I'm making up. We're 1 point over, and I'm sure you can find it somewhere.
You're 5.5, yeah, absolutely.
5.5, but basically the list is you've got your Lieutenant 2, you've got your Lujing,
and
Drop
2 tactical
Trooper.
awarenesses in there as well.
Yeah.
So you're at 13, 14 orders right now, basically. Because if you don't use the Lieutenant orders on the Lieutenant himself, although you'll probably use 1 for Fairy Dust every round.
Or Support Wear for the first turn.
Or Support Wear for the first turn. That Mo Wang is getting 2 free orders. So you're at 14 orders effective with a 10 model list, which is pretty crazy.
And every model... Well, first off, they're hackable. Even the robots are.
The mech engineer's not. The mech engineer's okay.
Once you can squeeze them in there.
Yeah, he's not. Well, I mean, you could actually take the Yisheng if you want to take a doctor instead.
Yeah.
Because I think the doctor might be better. And he's 15 as well.
No, I think the engineer is the way you have to go.
Because you might get EM.
Doctors are great, but EM's common now, and parrots and stuff are becoming more... Like, what happened in OSS with the Karan bot made it just like...
Morats are all over the place.
Yeah, Morats and cyber mines are becoming more and more common, and so... But that was... You saw how fast that list fills up. And so I imagine that army is going to be really... You're never getting past 10 orders in the Invincible army.
No.
They might even be better in vanilla.
We'll see.
I don't know. We'll see.
Well, there's no links in vanilla, so you're not getting any of that tactical awareness stuff either.
You don't. Tactical awareness is great, but all those tactical awareness guys are creeping into 35 to 50 points.
We'll have to tech it out again.
Yeah.
But then, as a counterpoint, let's talk about the last of the traditional...
heavy infantry armies
that's been modernized, which is your old jam here, which is the military orders.
Yeah.
And again, we're just going to do a greatest hits because profiles didn't really change except for 1. Where you got
actually like 3 changed.
Well, your Montesa changed to somebody else, basically.
The Montesa changed.
Yeah.
He's the motorcycle now.
He's a motorcycle now, but then somebody else picked up his gear.
Yeah, the
Santiago? Sepulchre. That's right.
Sepulchre took over his job. becoming back cross left.
That's right there.
Red on white, not white on red.
He got the forward deployment level 2 in the LGL. Yeah. So now he does the first turn, plink, 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 10 orders into the deployment zone.
Exactly.
And makes friends go away.
But he's also hollow too. So he makes it even worse because it's if you don't go first, you can still benefit from him because they have to go freaking deal with him because he's pretending to be 3 Constantinoses. Right. And so your 4 Constantinoses are all out on the board and you're like,
who's Constantinos? Who knows?
One of them might be the heavy infantry DA close combat.
It transforms into Murder Man.
Yeah.
So let's just talk about the Fireteam composition because that was the biggest change here. They blew up the Pick a Temple thing. Yeah. You got multiple, so you get 1 wildcard trooper, which is
I think it's just 1, and it's a Santiago.
It's a Santiago Knight, yeah.
Yeah, the Santiago also changed pretty considerably. They still have their 360 visor. They still have martial arts 1 to get them into the I'm not going to get killed.
That's right.
0G Kinematica duo. But honestly, the biggest and most useful thing they have going for them is the fact that they have a killer hacking device profile who comes with a tin bot.
Yep, and you can pull in a specialist profile as well.
They're all specialists. That's the crazy thing.
But it's a Spitfire specialist.
That's true. He is a Spitfire specialist.
If you're not bringing defers, then that guy can just go join a Fusilier link now. Anyway. Or Sergeant link.
Any link.
Yeah.
He's a wild card. He can join anybody.
Absolutely.
But the tin bot is great though because it's another heavy infantry army that needs protection against hacking.
Yeah.
These guys don't suffer as bad as the Invincible army does because most of them have a martial arts of some type.
Yeah.
But Order Sergeant change, they got the soup that everyone else gets.
So you can have your...
So Constantinos can join it.
Yeah.
Albedo, Inquisitor can join it.
Just the Blackfire with the multi-rifle, though, not the other one.
Not the sniper.
And
then Father Knights.
We made Father Knights great again. The guy with the literally the hardest base stat line in the game. For a not tag, basically.
Yeah, in the 40 to 50 range of a heavy infantry guy.
Yeah, dude has every stat
line. Yeah, he doesn't even have a martial arts skill, but he's a CC-23.
He has assault, but it's not really a martial arts skill. Yeah. But he's CC-23, BS-14.
Every weapon is a DA close combat weapon.
Arm 5, BTS-9.
Yeah,
he's just gross. And now you can back him up with 3 Order Sergeants and a Santiago if you want with a Spitfire or something like that, or he could even lead with the Spitfire.
He could lead with a missile launcher. And then 2 of the Order Sergeants could carry rockets. And then the Santiago could be the killer hacker.
Why not?
And the Albedo guy's there. Great. Because let's have another one.
And then also you got the Tick Blang, who's very different from the...
He's not very different. He's just more expensive.
And no mines.
And
Religious Troop. Yeah. And you got a Seraph with HMG and 2 nanopulsers who doesn't have an Oxbot. So you can go and do your jump thing.
To be fair, you could still do that. The rules got kind of errated so that you could just leave him behind.
But the big deal was the HMG, because now you've got a non-brawler gun. That's a huge deal.
Double nanopulser is pretty cool, too.
And he's cheaper by 3 points, because he doesn't pay for the Oxbot.
He is an under 80 points tag. So you can play a double Seraph list now.
You can. AVA2.
You double Seraph. They were already AVA2, but the problem was that over 80, you become... I know it's only 79 versus the 80, but you'd be surprised at how much 6 points makes a difference when 8 points is an order. In this list, 8 points is 2 orders.
Because it's your Tech B and your War Core, which is bad.
Joan of Arc can make the Crusade team still.
Yep.
It is Joan of Arc, Hospitalers 4 or 3 and a Santiago or Defersen and any combination like that. And Defersen counts as a Hospitaler.
And then you've got Harris options now, too, which is a big change.
The Teutonic Knights and the Magister Knights. No, Hospitaler Knights.
Right.
Yeah. Magister Knights only count as Teutonic now, and Core. And the thing with that means that your Magisters can't be led by Santiagos or Magisters, or Hospitalers.
Right.
So they went from pick a list, anyone can bring Magisters as anyone,
right,
to... Don't pick a team. You're playing either Santiagos or Magisters or Hospitalers, and Magisters can only be led by Hospitalers or Santiagos. And now it's Magisters can only be led by Teutonics, who are back to being a core link. But you can only bring 3, so you have to bring these guys if you want to bring them, or they can Harris.
So it's interesting because so you've got these mixed link teams now. What I think is interesting about it is you're no longer just going to see the Joan train or the cheap knight as like the two sort of viable options for military orders, because that was the big thing before. It was either people brought Defersen, Joan, 3 Hospitalers, something else, 5 orders. Sorry, Joan defers in 3 Hospitallers, Tech B War Corps, and then insert
MSV2 guy and also something.
And then insert 2 other models basically. Where it was just this like it was rinse and repeat basically. Or you went and skewed into the cheapest
T.O. Camo Infiltrating Order Sergeant.
You did that one too.
Well, everyone does that one because he's a staple of the faction, like this army, because he's really good.
And he's unlimited AVA, which is bananas for his point cost. What's his point cost?
27.
27.
He's expensive.
I like that you've used that so often now that you just can do it off the top of your head.
Rather
is it
left.
still there?
There you
right
go.
There.
T.O. Camo Infiltrating Forward Observer Camo Mines.
Crazy. Crazy. Such a crazy profile for 27 points.
Whip 13, BS 12.
Surprise shot and flash pulses everywhere.
He literally does every job you need him to do. So, like, the way I've always used these guys is I'll bring more than one. It's expensive, but Joan can afford it.
Well, so what's fun? Well, I was just thinking though is what's funny is they're no SWC. I think the soup option now for this army
makes them have to compete.
Makes
for
you
their job.
no. Well, it's not just that though, but you can almost do both.
Oh, yeah,
because you can now take like a heavy Harris list and then like a Father Knight / Connie or Blackfriar led core team. And then a bunch of these order sergeants. Like you might actually get into 2 combat groups now.
I think this might have actually killed the train.
I think kills the train is still the train. It's never going to go away because there's still going to be people out there playing the army that want to take the biggest meat bust they possibly can of knights, and nothing changed about their core stats and how they fight. Like they're still an obnoxious thing to kill. They got cheaper.
Some of them did. Yeah,
the HMG got more expensive. That's right.
It's trying to incentivize you to bring Deferzen, who's more expensive than both. But the fact that you can now bring a killer hacker in that group kind of kicks Deferzen out. Because Deferzen's shtick was that
well, you can take the San Diego Spitfire now, too.
You could bring both.
Yeah.
Actually, sorry, only one in the Crusade.
Well, because you almost brought Deferzen for the Spitfire. He led the way a lot at certain range bands.
That was the way I brought it.
Yeah.
But if you brought the HMG, kicked Deferzen, got the killer hacker, because the thing I always ended up using Deferzen for, I used him to lead because he had a Spitfire, because I chose not to bring the HMG.
Right.
But with the change to points, and the way that Santiago's can fill that, because they now have a killer hacker, which they didn't have before, means that you have an action when someone comes to try and hack that team as it gets closer. This guy just steps up and goes, Trinity, or whatever kill play he wants.
It's true.
And they have no defenses against it.
No, it's true. So, none at all. But I'm going to be curious to see where the world settles on MO now, because I feel like this broadened their horizons a little bit, where you can do multiple. Like even actually more than Varuna. You've got more potential options in this list.
I think the thing is with Varuna is that they suffer the case that they can bring all their dudes.
Yeah.
This guy's can't. You still have to pick something.
You still have to pick something.
You still got to be
Sepulchre.
You still got to do that.
Yeah.
Do you want to train? Do you want to not? I think the Order Sergeant with a Father Knight and the Albino.
It's going to be a new staple.
That's going to be there all the time.
Yeah.
If you're not bringing the train, you will be bringing that combo.
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
Or just 5 rockets. Just forget it. Just you bring a 5 rocket group of Order Sergeants and they just start killing.
I don't know if the SWC supports that, but I see what you're saying. We're into Acon.
Almost.
Oh, and you lost Fusiliers. We should mention that you lost
Fusiliers.
Spitfire. Your Fusiliers are gone.
There you go.
So you have to go.
You can bring 7 Swick of 5 and Fusilier. And then the rest of T.O. and Joan.
With Joan, that's true.
Yeah. Probably 10 orders there.
So Acon also lost the Fusiliers, pushing them into you got to depend on your own regulars. The regulars got some special fire teams, which is 2 Bag Maries can join any fire team corps of regulars, and another one which is 1 orc troop can join any fire team of corps of regulars. The orcs didn't get any special stuff though, not like the Varuna stuff did, but the machinist did. He got a SAA profile, which gives him mimetism and multi-train.
Yep. So you can join, and he can also join Bag Maries.
Mm-hmm. You got a duo, I believe, of Tick Blangs, although they think they already had that.
I think they did.
I think they already had that as well.
I think this one's already up, to be honest. I feel like this one's
already up. Harris and duo for.
Oh, I forgot to mention about the Montesas during that night ramble, where Montesa Knights, the new motorcycle ones that everyone's seen, that they're AV1 in all 3 of these factions.
Yeah,
somebody should have gotten more of these.
But they're paramedics
in these 2.
In these 2, that's the thing they get as extra things.
They should have been.
They get a paramedic
should have been
profile.
AV2 in these guys.
Yeah.
This one and the Knights, because for the logic of this is their hometown.
This is their hometown.
And Knights.
Yeah.
Like it should have.
They got an extra profile. I feel like you're right though. They should have been able to take 2 of them because I think actually they'd be interesting at 2.
Because at 1 he's just kind of a throwaway, or he's like, I'm only here to get the button at the end of the game.
At 1 he's a gimmick. At 2 it's literally like it's a cavalry assault.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You're doing a cavalry assault, which I think is kind of cool.
Now he's the lone knight.
Yeah,
but he's not.
He's Don Quixote, and there's no Sancho Panza following him around. He's just gonna get beat up.
Should also mention that Rao get the he gets wild card.
Does anybody else get wild card then?
No, I think so. Neither Knights nor the Shock Army got wild card rocket bot.
They didn't get the Clipper, yeah, which is weird.
Unlike the double Clipper that the Varuna can bring. So I don't know how you make that one work. I'm sure there's a list where you can bring a Harris of 2 Clippers and somebody.
1 person and 2 Clippers.
Or he could fill out your 5-man
Take the Harris Orc. Take the Harris Orc with double Missile Clipper.
Well, I'm thinking 5-man link of Missile Clippers.
Right.
And then their BS 18 with
you only get 2 though. You only get 2 of the Missile Clippers.
No, but they're wild card, right?
Yeah.
And so 2
You'll
of
put them in a full wild card link. That's what I'm saying.
That's what yeah.
And then you marksmanship them, and then you've got 2 missile launchers shooting twice in ARO.
And marksmanship both at BS 18.
At BS 18, yeah.
You're like 18.
Ignoring cover. Ignoring cover, yeah. And you just stick them up high on something and just be like, come out in the open.
All 18 points are going to die.
They are ants, Michael. They are ants. Yeah. And then you just reforce something with something real. So the last one is going to be the Morats. And they mostly got a reorganization the same way that the MO and Acon
2 exceptions that got really cool rules.
Yes.
One of them is the Sogarat.
So the first one's the Sogarat. He got
full auto
2 on his Fearbach. And
on his Fearbach, not the HMG, but the Fearbach.
Yes, and then on top of that, you got your Raktarak Sergeant Major. Now is the wild card. So we'll go through the core, like the actual core and like what the link team structure is for them. But those 2 models changing is huge because the Sogarat wasn't he losing his Harris team. Well, he had a Harris team option before with Cornac and another Sogarat, and it was kind of neat. They had a Harris option, but just giving him full auto. Making that Fearbach burst 3 in active turn. They did take the
Harris away, to be fair.
It's been gone for a while, though. It's been gone since Human Sphere 2, actually.
No. It's been around. I've played against it.
I have too, but when Human Sphere 3 came out, I think it went away. Because that's when the new sectorials for these came out.
You can keep talking.
I will. I'm pretty sure that's when it went away.
Prove me wrong, book.
He loves doing
I've been
this.
right a lot recently. The first 2 attempts,
lucky.
I was right.
He's been lucky a lot is what it is. Yeah. But yeah, no, having Bioimmunity, Fireteam Duo, and then Full Auto 2 makes him a really interesting piece now. Especially because
and up to 2 Sogarats. Get on my level,
is it?
Pleb.
In this one, but it's been gone in the current meta, so it's been changed for a while.
Just the players you play don't bring it, I guess.
Special Fireteam Harris,
Cornac and 2 Sogarats. Yeah,
Sogarats
I've played this like 6 times. I keep playing. So I have a confession about Morats is that they're probably the army that I know the least about in this game. Not because I haven't played them or seen them, but because I don't remember them every time I play them.
Because you can still Fireteam Harris with Suriats.
But not
with the Sogarats anymore. But they can do a duo now with the Sergeant Major.
So a lot of people have that double Sogarat because both Sogarat models are amazing.
They're super cool miniatures, yeah. And then Cornac is like, everyone has Cornac too.
But now
he's a strategist model.
You can justify bringing Cornac in a 5-man Vanguard link and actually bring Vanguards. Because why not?
Well, because now you've got your soup link. That's the thing is you can do a core link of 4 Vanguards and a Suriat. Plus you can take Cornac because he can you can do the Raktarak Sergeant Major.
Yeah.
And like there's just a great like a mix of different fire teams you can do.
The thing you have to remember about Full Auto 2 is that there's no counter in the game currently.
To Full Auto.
There's nothing.
There's no visor that stops
it. Minus 3 to shoot that guy if he shoots you, regardless.
Yeah, and you only get the burst bonus in active turn on 2, I'm pretty sure. But like that's obnoxious in and of itself.
It's a triple shot Fearbach or a double shot explosive AP Sherlock.
Yes. The double shot explosive one is pretty crazy.
I think the triple APDA.
Oh no, I mean,
and he's VS13. Yeah.
I've played with the triple shot Fearbach now.
He's the link,
the 5 man.
The friends.
Well, it doesn't need the friends. That's right, and mod stacking too.
And
he's mod stacking because if he's in cover, he's -6 to shoot back at.
Before anything else starts getting counted.
Yep, absolutely. So those are the big changes there. We keep saying this modern sectorial term. And what it means is you're not forced into a single profile, basically, for your teams.
Does Anyat bring anything to the line troopers?
Who's
there? The special.
Trade Tech, she's up here. Trade Tech Anyat. One over. There she is. She counts as Vanguard, and she counts as Vanguard.
Yeah, so you could bring a Vanguard, her officer, Raktarak, and what's his name? Raktarak.
Cornac.
And Cornac.
Yeah. Oh, no, Cornac actually can't join Vanguards. He can do 4 Suriats. He joins Suriats.
Right. Yeah, never mind. But the other
you can do Anyat, 3 Vanguards, and a Suriat if you want. And then the Suriats, I think this is the last.
Raktarak.
Well, this is the important one, though.
Suriat.
The Suriat HMG gets tactical awareness.
Yes.
So you have a 2-order Suriat now all of a sudden.
Yeah. But it means you could have a 5-man link that has Vulcan Shotgun NCO if things go bad.
smoke grenades from Anyat. You have tactical awareness HMG with deflector on the Suryat. And then two other plebs to fill whatever role that you're missing out of.
And they've got an EI hacking device, they've got an FO, they've got a paramedic, whatever you need them to do, basically.
Yeah, definitely the hacker and probably one of the other ones.
I like the Combi-Lightful LGL. That's a great little profile for one SWC, because an LGL can be so useful for clearing the way for like a link team to get somewhere.
Yep.
Even just
smoke
drop
grenade, spec fire.
That's it. Well, you can't smoke grenade spec fire, but you can LGL onto somebody. Yeah. I hear what you're saying though. Smoke grenade onto them and spec fire into the.
If there's something that you don't want to go in there against.
Yeah, and just go big. So yeah, I know it's neat. I'm excited to try the Vanguards. I really want to make this army as my second army after Varuna, mostly because we don't play the aliens enough. Right, we know people that play Combined Army, but when only 4 out of how many armies in the game are not
there's
humans?
10 now between Ariadna and Pano.
That's it, right? Like, so 4 out of, I guess there's like, well, and then there's all these new Merc armies, too, and NA2 or N2A armies.
There's 4 more there, and you got 4 in.
There's like 25 to 4 humans, which I mean, and that I guess this is a good spot to basically end our talk about the army house and start talking about everything else that's great about this book. Is it does kind of like bring up that how dangerous the EI actually is and puts them in the forefront again, which I'm pretty excited about, because I'm more excited to play my Morats now and to finish that Morat army, having read some of the stuff that's going on in here. Like the fact that like the humans, the fact that like the humans are like, what was the bit where the humans are hiding their own atrocities under like EI attacks?
Yeah, there's a part in the beginning of this book where they're talking about what your job will be. It's like, yeah, you'll be fighting the aliens, but you're also going to be a police officer. And you're not just fighting the aliens, you got to fight against other clandestine groups. Now, we can't admit that they're doing it.
Yeah,
but if sometimes when a position gets raided and we find a bunch of EI bodies and we assume that it was the Combined Army, it might have been the U-Chain.
It might have just been the Caledonians decided to have a party.
Yeah, the Caledonians and the Kazakhs are fighting each other in the bar again.
They're fighting in the bar again or something like that. And they dragged a bunch of Morats and they were like, the Morats attacked us. That's why these 7 humans are dead.
Yeah, that's why we strangled these people to death.
I hit this guy with a chair. that Morat totally stabbed him with a beer bottle.
Because that's one of the things is that there's no profiles in this book, and there's no rules really other than the few weapons, but those will be on the wiki soon enough. And to justify it, it is something to say though that the story, the background of this game is something that's really not appreciated, I think, to some degree. It's something that gets forgotten.
I think it comes in waves. Whenever we have an online campaign, I think there's a big groundswell of excitement for where the story's going to go. And then we kind of forget it in like the constant discussions about list building.
Well, the mechanics of this game have so much stuff going on that you lose track of like what is happening.
It's true. Even if you just look, they're separate rule books for a reason. The rule book for N3 came with the background book had to be separate because the rule book is the biggest part of it. You know, like because it's a very dense game and there's so many like operations and ways that operations can interact. But I love that this book and the previous one too, which is Uprising, just focused on what's going on in the human sphere, because it's such a great background and a great story. And what I'd love to see is something to mirror what happens in ITS every year, where we get more narrative stuff.
Yeah, I've been saying this because like you need to bring, and you've brought it up where you've said to bring like a blurb about what's going on in this scenario. So you imagine a supplies mission, right? And what I had said, because you can look at this book and it will name drop all over like. Ukbar, the city under siege. It's under martial law. The troops are great. They have a great quantity of weaponry and strong supplies, but the combined forces have the same position. The Pan-Oceania in Runenburg, you've got the Teutonic Order's monastery is completely surrounded by EI with Ariadnans on their way to come break it out. And like that's something that you could tie into things. You could do missions like rescue missions, and you could do that, but you could tie it to something happening in the world right now. And
it helps you envision what's going on in the game. One of the reasons that we liked Human Sphere and 3 so much was the missions in there all had this sort of missions. Like... Not even just the room mission. I liked the rescue mission, where there was a zone of occlusion in the middle of the table, but it explained why. It explained why there was basically this like no fire zone. You're checking your fire. There's civilians running around. There's casualties. Everyone's checking their fire because they're afraid that they're going to hit a bunch of their own side. And that, to me, playing that mission the first time we played it, I was so immersed in the idea that we're both going to pull out these civilians, but it's in the midst of like a riot, and there's just smoke and alarms going off and like people running around. And so both of our forces are so paranoid they're going to accidentally kill one of their own side that there's this saturation zone. And it's stuff like that where I would love to see that reflected more in things like the ITS document. Like the Xenotech, for instance, it just feels like I don't know enough about what the Xenotech is. I know what it does mechanically in a mission, but I want to know about this.
Just
like
another button.
It seems like another button. What I want to know is like, who are these people? Give me some named Xenotechs. Give me some like theaters of operation where the Xenotechs are happening. And I think maybe if even if the ITS document was shorter, but every mission was more a piece of hit. Like I would love to be able to play through the ITS document and play every mission in order.
The same way you could do the Ice Storm or the Beyond Red.
And have it tell a story. You know what I mean? Like one of the great things about Red Veil, I think both of our favorite moments was when you get to the mission in Red Veil where the Alpha Z shows up.
Yeah.
And it's like,
and then the ninja shows up.
But the Alpha Z shows up and you're like, they've been caught basically on the
There's
Neon
a conversation
station
between the Zayadin and the Toreg, and they're like, well, stealth is over.
Hit the button, and the crate just opens, and like the Alpha-Z's been in stasis, and it just lumbers out, and it's like, what am I doing? Wreck the station. Okay, and it just starts destroying everything in the room. Like it's that moment where you feel yourself immersed in the universe, and it's such a compelling universe because it's basically. It mirrors, current events, and it's just about humanity's inability to get its shit together, even in the face of this ultimate crisis where they're going to be absorbed and wiped out by like a malevolent alien AI. And I think that's a thing that's it keeps me. There's 3 pillars, you know what I mean, in my personal hobby where it's like I love building models that I like, and Infinity has never had a problem producing gorgeous, beautiful models.
Yep.
I love playing games that are challenging, and every game of Infinity is just. I think the reason you and I have played so many games of Infinity is because it's just a constant. It's problem solving. Every turn, you have a new puzzle to unlock, and you've only got a certain amount of moves to do it in, and that's what's sort of challenging about it because every game ends up being different.
And that's the thing, though, is that I find the metagame of that
starts to submerge the immersion.
You no longer because I can remember playing this when I first started playing and looking at it like, all right, my guy's going to do a cool run, kills these guys, jumps into the room and blows all these people away. And that's gone now. It's, what's the likelihood of doing this? This is my mechanically best way to succeed. Yeah. I have achieved the boops, and now I hold all the zones.
And it tends to come, but it comes back whenever we do something where we're not trying to play like an ITS mission. Like when we played the missions from Wotan or Red Veil or whatever, like we got back into the story of it, and I would love to see more like this third offensive book get reflected in like storytelling missions.
Give Season 11 like a trimmed down number of scenarios, but make it so that they all have narrative impacts. They're not
make it memorable.
Because
and you can even roll it more. That was a cool thing they've done later on is they've added missions to the ITS document as the season goes on. Start with 10 and then with 20. Right. You can have packs of 3 come out that are all like plays in a row. It tells a story. Like there's all kinds of interesting things they can do. And I think with this new lump of like current events in the game,
because you could do so much with it. You could do that, and then you do it where you could do lump sums for factions, and then do because there's already a campaign kit.
Even special rules. If playing Morats on this side, you get this. If that kind of stuff.
Not even that. Just simply like everyone. So you're doing a narrative mission, right? And you go, all the players who are playing combined army and all the players who are doing this are in their own groups, and everyone gets 1 for a win. And then inside your tournament pack, Spud, you give something for those things. So true, there's not Spud's like I won the tournament, haha, I get all of the things in this box.
You get a best in faction, you get achievements, you get all that kind of stuff. But then
all the players who played Morat that day got this. Yeah. Because they achieved the goal of the Morats in that. And we know ITS measures all this stuff. But there's
so much possibility. I think that's what's cool about it. And every time we see a book like this where we get to be kind of just like dunked back into the story in the background of the game, we get excited about that stuff.
Because as someone who plays a lot of these tournaments, I don't need another hold 4 zones, push the button.
Yeah.
There are like 5 of them in the current edition. They're either hold the zone and stand next to the button, hold the zone and push the button, hold the zone and stand next to the button with a guy, hold the there's so many of them. I can't keep track. I don't even try. And then 3-4 more of them are just variants of moving forward and holding zones or moving forward and holding buttons. And I loved the room missions in Infinity. I know that people have an issue with balance on those because some factions are just better at holding rooms.
Yeah, it's true.
But there's more going on because it's not just it still hold a zone.
It intrinsically has a story to it, though.
But there's
an intrinsic storytelling to there's something in this room. It's a treasure hunt. There's something in this room. You know what I mean? There's something you have to go and do.
You play basically 2 games of the defense, and you have a defense where you always know where you're going to be defending. Like holding a zone is a big area. You know who knows what the hell
it could be in the open
on,
too.
Right?
This is like an enclosed environment. You know you're going to be able to line of fire.
You know there's going to be 4 doors, and you'll have to defend them in some way. But yeah, that's what this book brings, is it gives you that ability to look at these scenarios that exist and
imagine what's happening.
Yeah, the alive scenarios were a really good example of this. Mostly because they gave that narrative background to everything that took place. Like the fight between the Tikbalang and the bunch of normies is when the Tikbalangs are going back out again after Tony's team goes up and clears the front line, basically.
And I think this is a great product for that reason, though. It does. I mean, we can always, for the Infinity, the nice thing is we can always put miniatures to one side and say, "Yep, they tick that box." The miniatures from Infinity are always great, and they just gotten better over time too, as they're now more. It's funny because we just built the Cold Front Beyond Cold Front bot, and you were like, he was so easy to put together. I love him.
I'm building rebots while building this guy, and they have the same structure. It's the same design.
Yeah.
The only difference is that they made. Everyone who's ever built any bots that have the cross legs, and they're just a little nub and a little in groove, and they never fit.
And this one slots perfectly.
And this one is a huge slot. It's literally like this.
Well, and what's funny is, except for pinning guys to bases, in the last 2 years, I haven't pinned a single Infinity miniature because the way they've been cut apart and the joins are just so perfect that they don't need to be pinned anymore.
And you can say something about not being able to customize your models to that degree, because they lose some of the posability. But at the same time, you only need 2 or 3 of each of these models. Yeah. If they have a nice design, it doesn't matter.
I'll be honest, the models are kind of works of art in and of themselves. I like appreciating them for what they are. So that box is ticked. But then I think the other pillar is this book offers you new game design, like new army design options and new rules. So if you're the guy who just wants to be excited about the game, there's plenty of this for you just looking through Infinity Army and reading the new sectorials. But this book is a real gift to those people that love the immersion of the game, and everyone's different. Every hobbyist likes something different about the hobby. As I get older, I find I'm more rounded. I like all of those parts equally. I don't tend to enjoy one of them more than the other, and I feel like I'm not. I don't care about one more, but I notice when one's missing. And so this one to me is that great sort of gift to loving the background and the story of where this world is going, and then especially the fact that it gives back to the fans who took part in all these worldwide campaigns and says, here's you're a part of the story now. Your actions mattered so much that you're actually part of the story. So kudos and well done.
I'm a big fan of the mechanics of games, and I don't really care that much about painting or building. The models are what they are. I could play all of these games with chess pieces, and it wouldn't change it for me very much. But the thing is when you start hitting the cap for mechanics in games, you start wanting to build those mechanics into something different. Yeah. And so that's why narrative is if I had to go from my thing after the mechanics of a game, it's the narrative of a game. Mm. It doesn't have to be super deep if it's got a great plot to it. That's why Mordheim got played so much. Mordheim isn't a mechanically deep game.
It's not.
It is walk and hit the guy. But I played 100 games of it because
the story always evolves out of every game.
Yeah,
and the post game story is almost more interesting. We have guys get thrown in a well or whatever. That's I think it's that sense of I want to know what's going to happen next.
Yeah,
that I think I want more in that in Infinity, and I'm excited about this book because I think that leaves the door open.
I had wished I'd played during the campaign Paradiso. I know everyone says that it didn't work that well. The Spec Ops didn't do the way they could have done, but at the same time. Make an army of Spec Ops. Make it so everyone plays Spec Ops.
Everyone's special,
and then everyone.
I mean, who knows? I think that's coming at some point.
And you could
do that. That's an obvious avenue for the game to go down.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're spitballing at this point. I hope you guys enjoyed this walkthrough of the Third Offensive, latest book from CB. Great job, guys, and enjoy looking through it on Army. If you want to watch a battle report with Varuna and the OSSSS, you can click above in the cards. So we'll see you next time for more of this. Next time, I'm Ash, this is Owen. Have a good evening.
See ya.
I hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to support the channel, of course, like and subscribe and hit the little bell below so you get notifications when I post future content. I do post stuff 7 days a week. If you want to support the channel further, you can, of course, buy a t-shirt through Spreadshirts, buy a measuring gauge or objective markers from Death Ray Designs, or, of course, most importantly, there is Patreon. Patreon is what makes all this possible, keeps the lights on, pays for the studio costs, pays for the equipment, model costs, and everything else, and most importantly, puts food in my kids' bellies and a roof over their heads. Big thanks to everyone, past, future, who supported me. I do this stuff because of you guys, and of course, I will continue doing it as long as I can.